Now, Storm Watch 12 weather with meteorologist Josh Culbreth.
Welcome back to News Watch 12 at 5, and here's the lead weather story. Winter weather advisories in place for Jackson County and elevations above 2,500 feet, and then for eastern Klamath and western Lake County, and of course the Cascades and Siskiyous. The biggest impacts are going to be up in the mountains where we could be measuring the snowfall in feet. And for most of these go until the early to mid to late afternoon on Monday. So we'll time it all out with Stormcast here in a second, but first, here's a current look at the satellite and radar picture and just some light showers that are coming in from the Umpqua Valley and then down into portions of the Cascades and Siskiyous. This just the appetizer. I'll show you what happens a little bit later tonight, and then as we move forward into the wee hours of the morning on Monday, you can see lots of heavy snow starting to line up there in the Cascades, and we're going to have multiple rounds of it all throughout the day on Monday. So by the time we get to breakfast time, if you're headed to work, headed to school, of course, it is going to look very rough out there on those Cascade passes, and we'll continue to have more showers, rain and snow showers moving throughout the region for the rest of the day. It does look like we get a bit of a break for Tuesday, but then we have another storm system, and that is slated to move through here for the Wednesday and Thursday time frame. We'll have a closer look at that here in a second. But first, some of those projected rainfall totals through Monday, calling this storm system number 1. And storm system number 1 is going to be very kind to the Cascades. We're going to have anywhere between an inch to an inch and a half of rainfall. Obviously, some less impressive rainfall totals in some of our lower elevations, especially to the east of the Cascades and to the south of the Siskiyous. Here's a look at snowfall levels throughout the day on Monday, and you can see they will slowly drift throughout the day. And we have this cold front that's going to move through for tonight. Behind that, cold air ushering in. That compresses the atmosphere, and that makes snow levels lower. So by the time we get to Monday night, places like Medford, Phoenix, and Jacksonville maybe seeing a brief transition from rain into snow, but we're not expecting any big time accumulations within some of those lower elevations. It's going to be in the higher elevations, the Cascades. You can see anywhere between 8 to 18 inches of snow in places like Diamond Lake and Crater Lake. Maybe a couple inches of snow, or maybe a few inches of snow perhaps at Siskiyou Summit. But for some of our lower elevations, Klamath Falls, Lakeview, Mount Shasta City, if we got more than a couple inches of snow in places like that, I would be very, very surprised. But going back to those higher elevations, it's going to be all red lights and yellow lights in terms of pass travel for the next 4 to 5 days, just because we have so much cold air, so much moisture that's going to work through here. So for tonight, it's going to be the start of all of it. Mainly just rain in our lower elevations, but then in elevations above 3,000 feet, it'll primarily be snow. Not a lot of rainfall making it down to Siskiyou County, at least not for tonight, but for tomorrow. All of that will change, and we'll see a mixture of rain and snow again in those elevations between 2,000 to 3,000 feet. But below 2,000 feet, mainly keeping it as rain up until very late on Monday, when we're going to get that little surge of cold air. So here's how the weather pattern breaks down over the next week. 3 main storm systems we're looking at. 1 for Monday, 1 for the Wednesday and Thursday time frame, and 1 for Saturday as well. And it looks like snow levels with those storm systems perhaps could be even lower, just because we have such a cold air mass in place. Here's your 7-day forecast for the coast. Rain and thunderstorms looking likely for Monday. Maybe a few flurries left over for Tuesday morning. That's how cold we're talking. Snowfall potentially there along the coast. For Siskiyou County, we're going to see several chances of rain and snow all throughout the week. I think the impacts are going to be a little bit greater for that Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday storm system down in Siskiyou County. For the east side, I think we'll likely see greater wintry impacts for these upcoming storm systems as opposed to the one that we're going to have for tonight, tomorrow. For the Cascades and Siskiyous, I think it's going to be all week. We're going to see some pretty big time snowfall totals, and then also big time travel impacts. And then for the Rogue Valley, also rain and snow, periods of it possible throughout the next 7 days.